Hello, it's Monday evening of Labor Day 2020. The year that everyone wants to forget is about to give us another body blow. Tonight I want to discuss tomorrow's almost improbable forecast for the Western Plains and my travels in that area last week. Last week I spent 3 nights in Burlington, Colorado, visiting several farms up and down the Highway 385 corridor in eastern Colorado. It was a great trip and some new firsts for me. But this week's forecast was on everyone's mind last week with an anticipated freeze and very little irrigated corn at Black Layer. If I didn't make it to your farm, I'll be returning in a couple of weeks. As I filmed this on Monday evening, the forecast for today in Burlington, Colorado was to be sunny and 91 degrees, and I hope there were many pinto beans being harvested. Temperatures are predicted to fall through the night, with light rain turning to snow about noon on Tuesday, with a high of 39 degrees and a low of 30, 3 to 5 inches of snow accumulation and 25-mile-per-hour winds through noon Wednesday per the National Weather Service. Some services are calling for higher snowfall totals. 2020 just keeps on giving across the breadbasket of the U.S. On a more positive note, my first stop last week was at the Mossberger Farm in Goodland, Kansas, where I had been following Jason John on Twitter with their 2020 field trials cropping corn and soybeans together in 40-inch and 80-inch strips across the same irrigated circle. These crops were planted at the same time with a single pass of a modified twin 20-inch planter. The goal is to create significant more sunlight for the corn crop planted at least 50,000 population and thus a higher yield. Corn harvest there will start soon as high moisture corn for a feedlot. Wishing them well as they push the envelope. I told you that last week had several new firsts for me. One of those was on the Chapman farm near Vernon, Colorado. Who can tell me what this crop is? Yep, sugar beets. Stuart Chapman shared that an average yield on sugar beets in Colorado is usually about 35 to 40 tons per acre. Chapman Farms and a neighbor share this self-propelled beet harvester and run it 24/7 when beet harvest arrives. It holds about 38 tons, and its accompanying beet buggy holds 40 tons of beets, moving the beets to waiting trucks. I'm excited about returning and watching it in operation. Another first was pinto bean harvest, which was in full swing on Ark Farms in Dundee County, Nebraska, just northeast of Wray, Colorado, where the pintos are cut and windrowed with a one-step system from Pickett Equipment during a higher humidity nighttime process, left to dry for a few days and harvested with a Pickett harvester or a traditional combine with a pickup reel. Many thanks to Robin and Eric for sharing the process they use for pinto harvest. Lastly, I wanted to share the current drought map for the U.S. with emerging and growing areas across the U.S., with a final picture of the grasslands in Kit Carson County, Colorado. Folks, it's dry in many places, and this week's frost freeze across the western and northern plains is just one more example of 2020. If you weren't harvesting this Labor Day, I hope you spent it with family and friends. Harvest 2020 is just around the corner. Please stay safe.